What's good? What's good? What's good? We back in this thing, man. Back with some more sports combos and reactions to get into. Got a couple good combos to get into after last night's game with the Lakers and the Warriors. Um, kind of was pretty decided the whole game. If you ask me, as I was watching, it was pretty much a 10-point game the whole time. The Lakers made a late run at the end, but going to the locker rooms at the end of the game, LeBron talked to the media. And he made some choice things that a lot of people kind of got a little upset about as far as a conversation. And we'll lead with that. Then we'll get into the Ryan Davis conversation with him and KD. Well, him and Gilbert about KD and just, I guess about KD legacy and how some of the moves he's made of how them looked and certain things like that. And I want to get into that as well. So let's just listen to LeBron. I'm going to go through some of the comments and just kind of see what's the overall reception.
Kevin Durant
That he's saying.
Knowing, assuming that you've watched what the Warriors have looked like with Jimmy Butler since the trade, but having seen it now for the first time played against it, what did you sort of make of what they put together over there, knowing that that's a team you could see in 2 weeks pretty easily?
I've been a part of them making big acquisitions to change their dynamic of their team before. And had to go against them when they added Kevin Durant. So, Jimmy Butler is great, and he adds a toughness to him. He adds a championship DNA type of guy. But it's always the same. They always figure it out. They always add somebody that makes them dynamic.
Knowing,
Only thing I didn't really love about this, it just kind of seems like it's more giving credit to the GM and stuff like that versus like the on-court ball. And I think the real conversation should be more looked at as Steph Curry's play style and how that play style is adaptable with so many other styles of play and so many other players that can come in, fit in, where it can make role players shine because now they handling the ball and looking for that mid-range and they can just hunt freely because the team got to focus on Curry, and if they ever get in trouble, they can just kick it to Clay, kick it to Curry, give it to Draymond, he'll figure something out. And that reminds me of guys like Livingston and stuff like that, because he kind of had free reign when he came on the court a lot of times to really kind of do his own thing. He could find his mid range, he could pull up whenever he wanted to, and he was kind of the guy that would get some pressure and shit like that. But Sean Livingston was not looked at a guy as like a superstar or anything like that. You seen Maurice Spates, like he was looking dynamic in their offense. He was hitting mid-range shots. He was coming up giving dribble handoffs and shit like that. Obviously, Harrison Barnes, they got rid of him, but they won a championship with Harrison, if I'm not mistaken. And we all know his limitations and inconsistencies, but that just speaks to it could be a guy that's a superstar or a guy that's an extreme role player or extreme journeyman, and Steph Curry makes them guys better or makes them guys fit in and feel welcome. Versus with LeBron, he's had multiple stars he's played with. His style of play is been contentious with a lot of guys that he's played with, especially if you're the third option. And if you're the second option, I heard someone kind of refer, and they weren't even talking about LeBron. They was talking about it was on Gil's Arenas. It was talking about, is he the real second option, the third option, or is he just getting the leftovers of Luka? And that's what I think. There's something about Kyrie or something like that, or some situation like that. And I think that's mostly LeBron. It's not necessarily that he's not gonna pass it to you, anything like that, but you're getting secondary action. You're getting the leftover action of when LeBron is tired, or when LeBron is just let's say got trapped or some shit. You're not necessarily getting the ball with a certain. You're gonna get a certain amount of possessions to really work in a sense. And with Luka, it's been a little different, but I'm just saying historically, to win championships, LeBron had to be pretty ball dominant. The second guy kind of just had to eat when he could. And it's only so many people that can fit in it versus Steph Curry's style of play. He's running off ball a lot of times. So if you are a ball dominant kind of guy, you could kind of cook a little bit with Curry because with KD, you've seen it. KD was used to coming from OKC ISO ball. And it was times where that was contentious with their style of play, but it still worked. He was able to bring his ISO ball to the Warriors, and sometimes they made them their offense a little stagnant. But with Curry, it still worked. Versus with a LeBron, I'm not saying necessarily KD and LeBron, but just in general, with LeBron's style of play, with two ISO-centric guys, it gets kind of similar to more the OKC style of play. And that way has its limitations when it comes to that second guy is going to have to be consistent as fuck. Being a guy that's getting left over from the ISO dominant guy, and not all the time people could be a good second option that's only getting looks depending on the reactions of a game versus the actual game plan of the game. And I think that's what a big difference of the second guy or the third option on the LeBron team versus the second or third option, fourth option, fifth option on the Warriors team. You know what the game plan is. You know how you're going to get the ball. You know what the looks are going to be when you're a backup or a role player like Jordan Poole or something like that. Like, that's a perfect example. Jordan Poole was able to shine and thrive, be ISO ball dominant, and, well, not super ball dominant, but he was still ISO heavy, and he could cook on that team because of how Steph Curry and Klay Thompson game is just so adaptable to any player. Steph can play on the ball, like you see when he beat the Celtics in the championship, heavily, because he wasn't as much off the ball like he was in some of his other championships. Like I said before, you could look at his older championships and see how more he could play off the ball with the KD or somebody like that. So that's the huge difference. And I think LeBron in this situation is giving credit to like the GMs and the organization for always adding a piece and putting a piece there. But it's more saluted to Steph, because it's been guys where you could constantly add pieces to a guy team and it just doesn't work because of the style of play. And I think LeBron kind of goes through that on a certain level. Obviously, he's still successful.
Assuming that you've watched what the Warriors have looked like with Jimmy Butler since the trade, but having seen it now for the first time played against it, what did you sort of make of what they put together over there, knowing that that's a team you could see in 2 weeks pretty easily?
I mean, I've been a part of them making big acquisitions to change their dynamic of their team before. And had to go against them when they added Kevin Durant. So, I mean, Jimmy Butler is great, and he adds a toughness to him. He adds a championship DNA type of guy.
Yeah, and it brings me back to the D Wade situation with LeBron. A lot of people say D Wade was hurt and fell off, but I really think when you look at D Wade versus the Mavs and how he played, and if LeBron would have stepped up, D Wade might have won an MVP. LeBron wasn't great at being a second option, or at least he hadn't figured that out in that phase of his career yet. Maybe he could have different conversation. He wasn't a good second option. D Wade, backdoor, probably wasn't a great second option when you look at it as well. When it comes to, I'm not used to having to wait on somebody else to get the offense going, and then I just eat off of them. Especially when you consider, like, neither one of them was the greatest mid-range. Not D-Wade was a great mid-range scorer, but the percentages wasn't that great. And you could look at him as being a little inaccurate. I don't look at it that way. I just look at it, he took tough shots and shit like that. But at the same time, what I'm really trying to say is you can see how they have to kind of get in the flow sometimes of that game. And when they get hot, that mid-range just start falling like butter. Versus like when you're the second option and you're not really allowed the same amount of let me warm up shots. You got to be more concise with your buckets and your attempts and your shots and all that shit. It could slow down a guy's production if he's not used to it, especially if he's a star, like MVP, championship bus driver type guy like a D Wade. Same thing with LeBron. So when LeBron switched and became the main guy in Miami, you could just argue that D Wade still could have been D Wade if he was the number one guy. He just wasn't that. LeBron's system and the way that they were playing, and LeBron being the number one guy, wasn't feasible enough for D Wade to be able to still shine like he was normally shining. But a lot of people want to blame it on injuries. That's a possibility. But it's also a possibility it was just D Wade and LeBron. Neither one of them was a great two. And once they had to become a two, they just wasn't as reliable as that guy being an off-the-ball guy. They're not great scorers. They are great slashers, but at the same time, that only goes so far with scoring. So, or being productive in the offense, if you ask me. Slashing is amazing, but like if you're not going to be able to shoot threes, defenses kind of wait for the slashes at a certain point. But that was just an interesting take. Let's look at some comments. He had the Dak stacked for him almost every team since 2010, but revisionist history, never wants to hear it. The internet gets mad at you if you bring it up. So I'm not even gonna look under his comments. I'm gonna look at the comments of the original post. LeBron Warriors add another big piece. So this was just he just stated the facts. So it wasn't a biased post or anything like that. Said, oh no, he didn't. I don't know if this page always hates LeBron, so that could lead to comments being a little hateful. But let's just see what the comments say. Isn't this what Bron did in 2010, 2014, 2019, 2025? And you could argue, like I said, if he had more of a play style like Curry, as far as being adaptable and being able to be off the ball just as much as he could be on the ball and be just the same amount of productive, that's the difference. And that's what I was trying to say with LeBron and D-Wade. It's not that they're not productive off the ball, but it's nowhere near the same level of production when they're on the ball. So it already is caveating themselves without the defense having to do anything. And that's the difference between the LeBron level or style of play versus a Curry. And like I said, you could look at it, they keep adding to Jimmy Butler, but bro, if Curry had any other style of play that wasn't team oriented, like being off the ball like he does so much, it probably wouldn't work. And it's the same probably with Tony Parker, Tim Duncan back in the day. Them big three being able to be successful, and then even being able to add Kawhi later on and still be successful, and have other guys like Richard Jefferson, or they had many other guys. What's the guy from Beaumont or Port Arthur? I forget the guy that raps and shit. Sam, what the fuck am I saying? Something. I forget the nigga name. Dude played the Warriors and shit. But yeah, pretty much. Even that team just showing that the fact that they could just plug and play is based on how team oriented their offense is versus, like I said, LeBron and D-Wade, they're great when they have the ball in their hand, but when they're the second option, they're not that necessarily great. And then you got an offense that's not necessarily flowing around being team productive. It's pretty much an ISO-centric team. So that in itself was, besides Chris Bosh picking rolls and Chris Bosh facilitating, like that was the only real other team play outside of it, them creating for everybody else. All right, this is just naming the stars. This is the level of delusion this clown operates under is astonishing. He spends his whole career stacking the deck with super teams, yet he whines. Oh, there's another one that he went. Let me read to one more real quick before LeBron and Nash. His process.
That there was a real fear.
What I did not know or what I did not have, I didn't have enough accumulative hours put in on perfecting the process.
Yep.
There's another level.
Yep.
There's another level that quite frankly, I didn't know.
That in itself is what I was saying with KD and LeBron. People so often love to say, as it is a fact, he never would have won with the Cavs. People love to say, and I think that's it's not a horrible point to make, but it's not a fact. It's a possibility he could have figured it out with the Cavs and got over the hump. He had favorite teams that was losing. No, they wasn't the teams that was end up being these super teams that he played on, but bro, Michael Jordan won with a good co-star and good role players. All you needed was one person, one other piece. He was still 26, 27. That piece could have came at any time. All he needed was one piece. That's all I'm saying. Could have been any player at any given moment, any given offseason, any given trade, any given draft where y'all found somebody. That's just the process of sports. You trust the process, they might end up getting it done, especially when you know the league is already catering to you. But whatever. Same with KD. It's no guarantee that he would have never won with Russell Westbrook. But people make it as a fact that he could have never won. And it's like, bro, these dudes were still trying to figure out the process of winning and becoming a champion. So to act like they had already maxed their potential on these teams and they was the greatest they was ever going to be and the teams just felt them, no, that's not the truth. The teams had some short sights and also the players at certain points. And as far as a superstar, I remember KD, it was a post, and this is probably one of the reasons he left OKC as well, but it was a post called Mr. Unreliable. And it was a lot of hoorah why he didn't like that, and a lot of people, during back that time was talking about it, but especially Skip Bayless. But like I said, it was short sights from the team organization-wise and the players. But a part of the process is the team learning to become championship sound and having a championship culture. And it's no different than the players having to figure out and get over that hump. But when you run from the process and try to go join other teams, there's no guarantee you're going to figure it out on those other teams. And that's what happened in 2011 versus the Mavs. That's what happened in 2014 or whatever year that was when he lost against the Spurs. It's like just because you went to these teams doesn't mean you're guaranteed to go win 6-7 championships. And that's what I like about the Celtics. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, just a couple years ago, motherfuckers were saying them niggas can't win together. They'll never be able to win together. Like, it was a fact. And I'm like, I'm not high on them, but I wouldn't be that down on them. They still young. They still can get a lot of room to figure it out. They already been successful early. And they figured it out. Jay was saying Jaylen can't go left. He's a bad second option. A nigga won conference championship MVP and finals MVP. So that's why I'm just kind of like, even with that small statement, it makes me go back to a lot of these conversations of when they say these players was hopping around, they should have because their team just didn't do anything for them. It's just like, that's not necessarily true, bro. It's just not.
Yeah.
And I think part of it was, me being young. And obviously, you play some superior teams, but at the end of the day, I don't think that, my process.
We play some superior teams. It'd be the little shit that people say. Some teams were superior. Some teams were still competitive, though. That Spurs team, you could have been competitive with. You might not have beat them, but you didn't have to get 4-0. And I say the same thing. Go look at the year 2006. D-Wade was in the same situation. He was down 0-2. 0-2. Went 4 straight. LeBron was down 0-2 against the Spurs. And the next 2 games were 3-point margin games, and LeBron did not perform to even his average. The defense was great. I say that because they shut down. They started shutting down Tim Duncan and all of them. But it came down to Game 3 was, I think, a 3-possession game. Game 4 was a 1-possession game. If he would have turned up like D-Wade was, because D-Wade in them game, after Game 2, he started going for 30 plus and got him a ring. So even if LeBron had did that, he could have probably pushed him to at least 6 games, even if he didn't win. Say he would have won those 2 games that were 3-point deficits, the Spurs figure some shit out, still win a championship. But when you say superior, it's like it gives excuses for him to be able to say he got swept, or it gives excuses for saying that why he lost to the Celtics or whatever when they were the favorites, or why he lost to the Magic. The Magic wasn't a superior team. That Celtics team you lost to in 2010 wasn't a superior team. They were even. There was peers at best. They wasn't the favorites in Vegas, but say in Vegas, I don't always get it right. Say they was the real on-court slight favorites just due to matchup. It still was considered a competitive series. It should have been a competitive series, and you lost it. So with that superior shit, it's like you throw a little slick shit in there. It's like I'm catching where you're going. You're trying to give yourself a way out, and it's just I'm not buying it.
And obviously, you play some superior teams, but at the end of the day, I don't think that, my process was where it needed to be, or even if I even had enough time for my process to be where it needed to be.
That in itself, did not giving yourself enough time. And when we say Jordan didn't go anywhere, Kobe didn't go anywhere, Curry didn't go anywhere, that adds to their legacy because they trust their team process. They built from a ground up. And like I said, 1 Dirk championship is amounted to 2 KD championships because, yes, we fucking lost. Yeah, we went through shit. Appreciate it, Wardu. What's good, Brody? Yeah, we went through shit. But the ups and downs of almost winning the championship against Miami, it sucks. But we love our team regardless of the ups and downs. And then when you do get that one championship, it's worth it so much more than a guy going to run like KD. And I'm kind of leaking into the other convo, but yeah. So even with LeBron saying it was too early, or it might have been too early, like I said, that kind of goes into his mentality of trying to chase somebody like Jordan, and that putting that pressure on him made him do things that he shouldn't have done, essentially. Same with KD. I think the pressure of winning a championship and trying to chase greatness got to them, instead of just knowing that they were great and it was going to come to them and having that level of belief, whether they should have had people in that era or whatnot. But I think that's the difference. And Kobe was very similar. He almost got up out of there. He asked for a trade and almost left, but they stayed down. And he bought back in. Because you got to think, even when the team deny you a trade, nigga could have just kept pouting. You know what? He said, nah, I'm going to turn up. They figured it out, and they won some more rings. And it be tough. Like I said, with the Celtics. Like, bro, they were so close to winning, like, going to the finals multiple times. And they couldn't get over the hump. But they kept it, and they stayed down, and they believed. So it's a huge thing to me, because you be right there, bro, and you just give up. I think OKC was right there. That Cavs team, that's a different conversation. Just because I'm trying to think, like, how would the league have shaped up if he never went to Miami? You still got D-Wade out there. The Celtics, he already showed he could beat the Celtics, even with, like he lost to them, but he had beat them before. So I think he would have been able to get over the hump the next couple years. The Celtics was only getting older. It wasn't like they were getting better. I'm trying to think. In the East, he wouldn't have had too many, like Melo and the Knicks maybe. You still had the Pacers, but it wasn't like those teams were super stacked, and you still would have been the best player on the court. It would have been a tough series, but he still would have been a favorite against a lot of those teams. Now, when it comes to the West, that's when it would have been a little different. The Mavs still would have been somewhat competitive the next couple of years. The Spurs, you still would have had OKC. So they would have had to definitely keep building. So it was a little more grim, I'd say, for the Cavs. And I'm not 100% mad at LeBron for leaving. It's just where he went to, who he went with. But KD, I think that shit was atrocious. And I think we might as well get into that now, man. We've been talking about it long enough.
Explain to the people why Kevin Durant doesn't like you.
Oh, because I'm honest and he don't like stats. But the reason I think Kevin was just unfamiliar with me. You know what I mean? I think
Got into it.
he didn't really. Yeah. Kevin Durant.
I remember that.
Yeah. You know, millions upon millions of views. Thank you, Kevin. It was an easy target. See, the thing is, I ain't never really liked the nigga anyway, if we being honest.
What? Wow.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about as a sports fan. I don't know the dude personally. I don't care.
I'm gonna say he's a good dude.
And I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Davis when it comes to sports combos, because I think he's on the side of LeBron. He's on All Def Digital, and they had a LeBron versus Jordan convo, and he was on the LeBron side of things, and he actually, I think, won the convo. But it was a little bit entertaining. It was a little bit of facts as well. But I do like his KD point. I just want to throw that out there. Like, it's ways I could just see a guy and understand, like, yeah, I don't like this take, but I can fuck with this take from you. And it's just not like, oh, yeah, you're a LeBron guy. I can't listen to nothing he say. I just want to throw that out there. I know this guy's a heavy LeBron guy, but on this point, I think he cooking, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I say never liked, I never liked the move to Golden State.
Okay. Explain yourself before.
So I never
packed out on this.
Because it's a competitive spirit thing. Mm-hmm. It's man, you can't beat me in Uno, and then I want to team up with you. In the way you lose, like.
And I think that's just a common thing between real competitors. Real people that just play sports or just love sports. Like, that's just how you kind of raise when you outside playing hoops and shit like that. Like, it's just how you go. It's like, if this dude's out there talking shit that you got beef against and on the court, like, bro, you ain't just trying to join up with them. You trying to get them niggas off the court. Like, that's just how it kind of goes.
You come down, you lose 3, you're up 3-1.
The reason I say that is because I feel like for a guy like Ryan, like he don't look like he may play sports or nothing like that, but I think even the average person can understand being competitive and having pride and all those different things, bro. That's something that's, I think it's easy to understand because that's what be the thread of most movies and why people love certain movies and certain narratives and things like that. Why certain narratives stand out more than other narratives and why people gravitate to those conversations a lot more because of it showed pride, because it showed heart, because it showed resiliency. When you see those things come out in a certain element of athlete or a performance or a movie, that it hits different. It hits different versus a guy that looks like he cheated the grind versus a guy that look like he took shortcuts. It's like, oh yeah, you're successful, but we're not gonna look at you as like we want you to be our leader. We're not gonna look at you and want to give you high praise. If we knew just both of y'all resume, like we know this one guy's resume, he took shortcuts, and he might be a little bit more accomplished or way more accomplished than a guy that stuck to the grind, is still immensely successful in his own right. People gonna love that story more. If that story was a movie, people gonna watch that story more. If that story was a basketball narrative, people gonna bond to that narrative more. So, yeah, that's just how it kind of goes. And I think people love to make it seem like those are like obtuse conversations or those are just narratives that just like media like to draw up. But no, bro, those are the ones that is closest to our hearts. That's why we like the underdog story. Because it shows a certain grind. It shows a certain level of not having fear. It shows a certain level of David and Goliath. It just shows a certain level that resonates to our heartstrings and stories that we've been told, that we've been loved, that connects to. From Hercules to all the different shows or movies where a guy has figured it out and beat the villain or beat the situation. And that's the thing. Some situations in certain movies, it'd be the nuclear bomb. If you clip the wrong wire, you lose everything, or the person end up losing their life. Like if it's like the movies or shows like 24 or some of these cop shows or something like that. Like you're going against one of the craziest villains of all time, bro. It's going to be challenging, but we know you can figure it out. And once you do figure it out, bro, it makes the story so much greater than, let's say, you take a shortcut or some shit. Like, and that's just the real conversation.
And then you lose that way. It's supposed to trigger something competitive in you to where you like, I got to get my face back, and he ain't want it back. He joined the other team. Even if you feel like if I lose to somebody where I had a major lead, I feel like I beat myself. I wouldn't even, I would feel the need to show you that, and he ain't have.
And that's reality. I've heard that, bro, coaches say that, teams say that, bro, when you was up 20, 30 points in the game and you blow the lead, bro, you start to beat yourself. Or there's been times where you lose and it's like you had 20 turnovers. It's like, bro, we had 20 turnovers and 300 or 400 total yards or however many, whatever. And we lost the game because of penalties, or we lost the game because of these mental mistakes. We had this amount of drops. We had this amount of big plays that we gave up when it was simple just coverage lapses. And we had the right coverage called to stop it. Like, it's just certain shit like that where it's times where you can really look yourself in the face and say, bro, if we would have just did 1% better, we probably would have won that series. If we would have did 2% better, because it's like that 3-1 series they lost. Do you think KD played at his maximum best performance? No, not after they start to blow them 3-1s. And especially not in clutch times. Did Russ play his absolute best? No. Did KD get better after he left Golden State? I mean, after he left OKC, yes. Did Russ get better after that year they lost 3-1? Yes. Did Ibaka still be okay? Yes. He was good for years. He ended up winning the championship. Steven Adams ended up getting better. So, yeah, KD got better on the Warriors, but he was going to keep getting better. He was young. He still had a lot of shit to figure out. He wasn't maxed out yet. That's all I'm saying. And to think you couldn't have played 3 or 4% better and you couldn't have looked yourself in the mirror and said, hey, it is some things we could have fixed. It is some things that in this moment, if we would have did that, we would have won Game 5. In this moment, if we would have did that, we would have won Game 6. In this moment, we could have won Game 7. But we start falling short because all them games was competitive, if I'm not mistaken.
Have it. And what is that? Like, I can't wrap my mind around it. And it ain't for me to understand. I ain't never been in that man's shoes. I'm just saying from my perspective, I never could understand that.
So what if you're living in Oklahoma City and you get the opportunity to move to the Bay Area?
Well, you rich enough to do that anyway.
But what if I'm on vacation, minding my goddamn business, and 3 motherfuckers who just lost?
So yeah, we'll pull it up. Let's look at the series, man. You know I like to look at facts. Because people love to say it's like almost a fact that they would have never won a championship. They never could have figured it out. And that just goes back to LeBron. It's like, I don't think they had completely figured out the grind yet. Like, yeah, they was up 3-1, but they got a little too excited. All right, Game 1. They win by 6. Let's see. Let's look at the stats. Russ with 27. KD with 26. KD shot 33%. Russ shot 33%. KD shot 25% from the field. From the 3. 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Russ had 12 assists, 6 rebounds. KD had 5 turnovers. Russ had 3. They still managed to win that game, and they played like shit. Shit. All of them shot 40%. Draymond had 23. Steph had 26. Klay had 25, and they still won that game. When they weren't even playing their best, they was able to beat them. So then come back, Warriors whooped that ass. But that was a win at home, too. So the Warriors had to bounce back, or it would have been over with. KD had 29. Russ had 16. KD played amazing with 61%. Let's see how they played in the first half. Yeah, KD went crazy in the first half. Yeah, he was matching energy of Klay and Steph. Russ was playing decent he was playing all right in the first. But they blew him out in the second half. Second half, KD went 2 for 5. Russ went 1 for 3. Curry went for 17. And that's huge. It was close in the first half, but I don't know what happened. Both of them fell off in the second half, or didn't play good in the second half as far as KD and Russ. Game 3, they go back home. When they go home, Steph has 24, Klay has 18. Nobody else hits double digits. And this team was just so scary. And they couldn't be beat in the future. KD is such a wuss, bro. 10 to 15, 66%. Russ 10 to 19, 52%. Both almost had double-digit assists. Free throws, excuse me. Russ went 30, 12, and 8. KD went 33, 2, and 8. So you can argue Russ was being more productive even on these teams sometimes, on some games for sure. Blowout. Let's move on. Go to Game 3. We back at home. We win again with another blowout. Steph with 19, shooting 6 for 20, 30% from the field, 20% from the 3. Horrible. Harrison Barnes with 11. Klay with 26. Shooting 52%. Klay was the only one that played good. Russ had 36, 11, and 11. Ridiculous. KD had 26, 4, and 11. So you telling me KD could have never won with this guy? All right, well, that may speak to KD level of greatness. Andrew Roberson, 17. He had a productive game. Ibaka with 17. Adams with 11. Waiters with 10. And Ennis was on this roster too. Ennis started playing better throughout Russ's MVP years. Then we go Game 6. Let's see what happens here. Oh, this is Game 5, excuse me. KD had 40. Russ had 31. Neither one of them shot great. Russ actually shot a little bit better percentage from 3 and from the field. Russ had a lot of turnovers, 7 turnovers. KD had 3. Russ had 8 assists. 5 steals as well. So he almost countered. I mean, with 5 steals, 7 turnovers, it's down there. He only had 2 turnovers for real. But outside of that, let's see what the Warriors did. Draymond with 11, Steph with 31, Klay with 27, Bogut with 15, Space with 14. And then I think this was this Game 6 Klay? Oh no, this is Game 5. It couldn't be Game 6 Klay. Haha. So let's look at half. First half, it was pretty even. Russ was playing like shit though. Draymond, Steph had 11, Klay had 16, Bogut had 10. So they all kind of was they had 3 guys hooping in that first half. Go to the second half. KD went for 25, and then Russ went for 18, and Russ got more efficient. Ibaka went for 11. So Russ first half versus second half was crazy. Curry went for 20, Klay went for 11. Let's see when it really got out of hand, though. So they was going into halftime they was already going to halftime down 7, right? Or down 8. Then they come out of halftime. It's a 3-point game. Then you go into the fourth quarter with a 3-point game, and then they pretty much lose in the fourth quarter. So let's see what happened in the fourth. Shit. KD went for 14. Russ went for 11. Curry went for 12. But it just wasn't enough. They pretty much they lost in the first half, and they didn't have enough to get it back. Go to Game 6, lose by 7. Curry with 31, Klay with 41. I think this was Game 6. Game 6, Klay with 19 in the fourth quarter. Fucking ridiculous. Let's see. KD played like shit. 29 points. And Russ had 28 points. 5 turnovers, but he also had 4 steals. Same with KD, 3 turnovers with 2 steals. So it's kind of counteracted it, but it's still a lot of turnovers from the both of them. Russ with a double-double. Like I said, he shot better. And you go to the percentages over here. So like I said, even with game, so if it's 3-1, so let me go back. 3-2. KD shot 38%. Russ shot 39%. Game 6. KD shot 32%. Russ shot 37%. And shot better than him from the 3-point line. So it was Russ' fault though. And then we go Game 7. KD shot 52%, but at this point, it's a little too late. Russ shoot 19%. Ibaka shoot 16%. Curry goes for 36. He just got outplayed. Curry ended up being a better player. And Curry and Klay end up stepping up in the moments that matter most, Game 6 and Game 7. They got outplayed. It wasn't a team thing and nothing like that. It wasn't that the team wasn't uncompetitive. It wasn't that KD didn't have a good enough co-star. When it mattered most, Game 6 and 7, they had their best performances. When y'all should have been having y'all best performances in Game 5 and Game 6, and they shouldn't even got the Game 6 and Game 7. But out of the three games they blew, being up 3-1, KD got had a worse shooting percentage than Russell Westbrook. Let's go back and look at the scores too. I ain't even look at the scoring total. I'm just curious. So he outscored them game, and we'll go back to Ryan Davis after this. Because people love to shit on Russ. I never just go back and look at the stats. I just speak from what I was watching on the court. They pretty much tied Game 6 and Game 5. Okay, so now he outscored him every game, though, but the percentages was nowhere near as good, which matters a lot. You're taking a lot of shots and way less per way less productive than you are in the regular season. You think that's not going to affect the outcome of the game?
So LeBron James call me up and fly all the way to see me, to beg me to join him and sweet talk me.
Opportunity to move to the Bay Area.
My mind around it. And it ain't for me to understand. I ain't never been in that man's shoes. I'm just saying from my perspective, I never could understand that.
So what if you're living in Oklahoma City and you get the opportunity to move to the Bay Area?
You rich enough to do that anyway.
But what if I'm on vacation, minding my goddamn business, and 3 motherfuckers who just lost to LeBron James call me up and fly all the way to see me, to beg me to join him and sweet talk me into, we can win the championship. Like, how is he getting the bad igma when they went to him?
Oh, I thought that was weak on their behalf.
The recruit, you recruit me. You showing me the nice titties and ass. I was happy where I was.
Yeah, I mean, he running from the argument. We talking about KD. He trying to act like because he got seduced by the Warriors. Why we not talking about the Warriors? The Warriors don't look great in that situation either. The Warriors don't look great because they was trying to get help to beat LeBron. And KD don't look great because he going to the team that just beat him when he was up 3-1. Neither one of it looks great. Like, that's just a simple fact. 2 things could be right. And the thing about it is, if you know the real truth, or I ain't even gonna call it the truth, if you know some of the backstories that's out there, KD had been talking to that Warriors team all year. KD had been talking to that Warriors team all year and been thinking about leaving that Russell Westbrook and OKC team. He had been thinking about that. That's why that unreliable conversation popped up, where a lot of people thought that was one of the things. That was a part of it. A lot of people said OKC was starting to like Russell Westbrook as a superstar. They were saying he was favored in Russell Westbrook. I heard that narrative a lot, which is ego shit. Who gives a fuck if you're the favorite or he's the favorite when y'all both win the championship? It's no different than Jason Tatum and Brown. People always gonna think Tatum the best, but it's gonna be moments where Brown's do some shit where you like triple double. Russ might be an MVP, and it's like you just gotta eat that. He's just like when you won your MVP, Russ was just chilling. Like, yeah, he obviously is the best player on the team. But when it comes to production, arguably Russ was more productive even in them 3 games. When you add his assists, he was getting a double-double every game with 30 points. So he was either matching it or damn near outpacing him in production on offense. So Russ could always look at it like, yeah, he's the MVP, but nigga, don't. I'm doing my thing too, but it ain't about that. Y'all both great. He can't be great without you. You can't be great without him, essentially, bro, because y'all both complement each other. So even that narrative was always stupid to me, but that was a narrative for sure that Russ was starting to get more favoritism in OKC organization. The media around OKC wasn't giving him 100% love, like I said, with the Mr. Unreliable shit like that. And that wasn't like, I think it was a couple other posts that was like kind of in that realm. The coaching, supposedly, KD didn't really love Billy Donovan, or was it Sam? Not Sam Presti's the GM. It was Billy Donovan, I think, and I forget what the guy was before that. Scott Brooks. He wasn't just in love with the coaching. I think he wasn't in love with always having like an Andrew Roberson or what's the other guy name on the court? We used to have, he broke his leg, Cephalosha. So we always had like a guy that was all defense and no scoring. I think that used to frustrate KD a little bit as well. But all that type of shit was shit I feel like the organization was going to figure out over time, along with KD getting better and Russ getting better. Like, they were going to be able to be one of the better teams in the future. Like, let's just be real. The Warriors took OKC Thunder. Bars, bro. The Warriors took OKC Thunder. OKC came out of nowhere. There was this young, great GM team where they challenged the Lakers and lost in, I think it was their first series when they first made it to the playoffs. They backdoor comeback. I think they beat the Lakers the next year. They might have beat like the Spurs or somebody like that, and then, or the Memphis, and then get bounced or something. and then they backdoor, they make it to like the Western Conference Finals. Then you make it to the finals. Then you have a couple of years of injury and shit like that. Then you make it to the 3-1 or whatever like that situation. OKC was looked at as one of the teams of the future that was going to dominate, and it was going to be tough to beat these niggas. Warriors came out of 2016 and really just took out of nowhere. Because I don't like 2015. What was the Warriors doing in 2015? Because honestly, that's a good conversation. Like, I don't remember how good they was. Okay, not 2015. 2013. They went 51 and 31. What round did they lose in? Lost in the Western Conference in 2014. Oh, first round, Western Conference first round. I'm like, wait, that threw me for a fucking loop. I'm like, in 2014, I started thinking, bro, I started thinking I was in the alternate dimension, bro. That was fucking with me. I said, Western Conference. Like, Clippers. That shit threw me all the way off. So they made it to the first round. And then the year before that, they ended up making it to the second round, losing to Denver. So they was making some noise, but they weren't making noise like OKC, if you ask me. Because OKC in 2012, they was in the finals. So it was just a little different. Then Warriors came and in a matter of like 2 years, took the energy from OKC. And once they beat them, it was like, okay, once they won a championship, of course, they was looked at as the GOATs of the up-and-coming class. They was looked at as the guys that was going to be the ones to be the team that is going to be the team that is going to be hard to beat in the next couple of years. Just because they were young, they was put together, it was like a homegrown thing or whatever like that. So, yeah, it's crazy to think about it, but the fact that Katie didn't want to go get that smoke back is ridiculous, bro. They literally took y'all thunder, and he was like, I'm gonna go fuck with them. Like, bro, y'all had all the juice, y'all had all the sauce to be what the Warriors was, bro. And most people thought that they could have been that until the Warriors came. For real.
This is what I say. If they do that, I'll be like, nah. Yeah. It's a shame y'all feel like y'all can't beat LeBron without me.
And I think that's a testament to KD, bro. That means Steph Curry was that much better than KD, if you ask me. Because Klay Thompson and Russ, like, that's a wash. I think Russ is better than Klay as far as the second option. So when it comes to the first option, that means Steph Curry was looked at as he gonna perform better than KD. And then KD had to go join, essentially. Like, that shit is crazy, bro. That shit is crazy because just years before that, KD was looked at as just the guy that was really next to LeBron. In 2016, all that shit changed. All that shit changed, bro. That shit's crazy, bro.
I'm going to show y'all how to do it.
And he went to go join that nigga that took all that sauce. That is insane. He took the sauce from your team. He took the sauce from you being the next real guy after LeBron. He took all that shit and you went to go join that nigga, bro. That shit is crazy.
Show you how to do it. As a competitor, I'll show you how to do it. I owe him one anyway because he got me in Miami. So I owe him one anyway.
Give it one more try.
Where is the competitive nature, bro?
I give it one more shot. I give it one more.
It ain't like you going to war.
Once outside.
I like what Nick Young said. He said, I'll give it one more try. At best, bro, sign a 1 or 2 year deal with the with OKC and y'all try to get it back. If y'all keep getting hurt, if the chemistry just stopped working because y'all just kept losing it, essentially, if that's what you think was going to happen, give it 2 more chances at least, bro. Like, that, leaving right after, bro. Like, if he would have went to the Warriors 2 years later, I don't think people are going to trip out. Warriors win another championship, lose a championship, lose both championships. Who knows how it would have played out versus them and LeBron. Some people think the Warriors would have never figured it out after they lost 3-1, after they blew that 3-1 lead to LeBron. So say they lose the next 2 years to LeBron. That would have been amazing to see LeBron get 2 more rings. I would say that. That would have been, bro. The GOAT debates would have been great. Shit would have been, niggas would be fighting for real, man. You telling me that nigga got 6? Because it was just going off the theory of what people said if KD never joined. You still got to deal with either the Warriors or OKC if you're LeBron, but whatever. Say he beats them teams. KD don't get nothing those next 2 years. The Warriors may be moderately successful or not successful as far as winning championships those 2 years. Then you go join the Warriors. Not right after you lose 3-1, bro. Like, it's insane. It's insane. And the Warriors look bad, too, because not after you just lose 3-1 to the LeBron. You was up 3-1 to LeBron. And you go get KD? Both them niggas look like bitches. The fact that all three of them went to go get KD out of OKC, that in itself, bro, should have been frowned upon. Like, I get it, players can recruit, he's a free agent. But at a certain point, bro, where's the competitive spirit? That's what he was saying. That's what Ryan Davis is saying. Like, that shit look weird, bro. Like, I would be so upset I blew a 3-1 lead. Not that this nigga beat me. I would be so upset that Draymond fouled his goofy ass out or got kicked out the game. I'd be so upset that we didn't come clutch. Let's look at the 3-1. Let's look at the 3-1 lead from the Warriors that they blew that year. Because it's honestly, bro, it's nasty that either one of these guys or these teams, as far as KD and then the three guys from the Warriors, couldn't fucking figure out, like, bro, it was our fault we lost these 3-1 series. Not the other way around. And the fact that they said, nah, let's go join. Let's go get the arguably the third best player in the league. So we can go beat LeBron. That shit is nasty, bro. And the commissioner honestly should have banned that shit. Honestly, bro. And we seen the president for that. When Chris Paul couldn't go with Kobe and Paul Gasol or whatever that team was, that should have been enough for KD not to be able to join the Warriors. Nigga, now you gonna need to sit your ass on. If you want to go join some other team, go join some other team. But you ain't leaving you're not leaving OKC to go to the fucking Warriors. No. Fuck no. This team just had broke the best record, or not broke, tied the best record of all time. What are we saying? So let's go look. Game 1 blowout. Nobody played great, but Sean Livingston cooks. LeBron played good. Kyrie played okay. Kevin Love played good with a double-double, and he shot okay from the field. But as far as the guys over here, it was a bunch of guys that got double digits. But Sean Livingston, the bench really killed them here, looking at that. But shit, they had 4 guys double digits. But even then, they lost that game. Come back, get blown out. Oh, damn, that's tough. LeBron, 19 points, 7 for 17. That's why I say it was the most entertaining series of all time, but I don't necessarily look at it as the best individual performance in the finals. Because you do got to count being down 3-1. And he didn't play great to be down 3-1, or great enough to be down 3-1. Neither one of them played great. Kyrie with 10 points, 5 of 14, shooting 35%. LeBron shooting 41%, 20% from the three. Kevin Love, where was he at? He had 5 points. So they played atrocious. Let's look up here. Draymond with 28, Clay with 18, Steph with 8. Well, they both had 17, 18. If I'm going to give somebody the best performance, I'm looking to be dominant. You got to be dominant, or at least good, even in your losses. Let's see. So this game he played good. All right. 14-16. JR stepped up. Kyrie stepped up. Anybody else stepped up? Tristan Thompson stepped up. And looks like Kevin Love goes down. They win this game, though. So this was a win. This was 2-1. Okay. So they won this game. This is when I guess they back home. Yep. And No one plays great on this team. As I was like, this team, bro, they were a good team, bro. And anybody could end up going off. Obviously, Curry was the main guy that the defense had to focus on. But outside of that, like, bro, they was a shooting team, bro. They had nights where it just didn't look great. So at their best, it was hard to beat them. But when they were playing mid to worse, like, I don't know, man. All right, Curry went crazy. 38, shooting 44% from the field, hit 7 threes. Clay had 25, so this was their best game as far as duo-wise. LeBron with 25, shooting 52% from the field, 20% from the three, 7 turnovers, almost a triple-double, almost a quadruple-double if you count turnovers, but we ain't going to be petty. Kyrie Irving, 34, shooting pretty good, and then 3 other guys with double digits. Yeah, LeBron had to score more here. He didn't play bad, but he didn't have enough production. Let's see. It's close going into the first. They're winning going into halftime by 7 or 5, excuse me. And then the third and fourth quarter, they get cooked. So let's look what happened in the third and fourth quarter. LeBron went 3 for 6. Curry went for 11. Clay went for 10. Kyrie went for 11. LeBron went for 7. So LeBron was the fourth best player in the third quarter when he had to be the best in this quarter, essentially. Fourth quarter, let's look. Curry with 13, Clay with 4, Barnes with 6, LeBron with 11, Kyrie with 7. He was the second best player, essentially, in that quarter. But it really was over by the third. They took off in the third. Going to game 5, excuse me. LeBron with 41, Kyrie with 41. Now we're here to look at the Warriors, though. Let's see how disappointing the Warriors was in these moments. Curry shot 38% from the field. Clay went for 37. My God, 11 to 20. He was ungodly. Still got cooked, though. It was tied going into halftime. The Warriors got cooked in the third quarter. Let's see what happened in that third. Curry went 1 for 5. Clay went 1 I said 1 for 5. I'm high as shit. He did go 1 for 5. And Clay went 2 for 6. And that's when the quarter was lost. Well, that's when the game was lost, essentially. So how I look at that is you got outplayed. You didn't even get the third best player in the league. Like, that shit's so weird, bro. All right, then you go game 6. Draymond with 8. Clay with 9 for 21 with 42% from the field. Steph went 8 for 20, 40% from the field. Just not shooting great from the field. Curry with 30. Clay with 25. But LeBron cooks him with 41. Kyrie cooks him with 23. Just got outperformed. Let's look at quarter by quarter. First quarter, y'all came out playing horrendous. I'm making up words. Atrocious. Let's look what happened in the first. This is where the game was lost. And shit, in the championship, all it takes is 1 quarter. Honestly. They all went 1 for something. 1 for 3, 1 for 5. LeBron came out hot. Tristan came out hot. Kyrie came out hot. A couple other threes from other guys. And they just pretty much kept the lead the rest of the game. And you go game 7. Draymond with 32. That's the only thing that needs to be mentioned here. Clay went 16 to 17. Curry went 6 to 19. Like, y'all just play like shit, bro. Y'all played like shit, and when it mattered most, y'all came up short. But let's go get KD. Like, that shit looks so fucking weak. And y'all had the lead going into halftime. They were up a good amount of points at halftime. 49. They was up 7 points at half. Going in the third quarter, got outplayed. Kyrie with 12. LeBron ain't play great. 1 of 4, 1 of 5. That's not great for LeBron. But hey, shout out to Kyrie Irving for. I didn't know that was how big that third quarter was for him. Got outplayed. Kyrie outplayed everybody. Harrison Warren was our leading scorer. Curry went 2 for 5. Clay went 2 for 4. Like, JR ended up stepping up too. Shit, LeBron was like LeBron ended up being like the 7th or best player in that quarter as far as, maybe when you throw in assists, he'll probably get up. He'll probably be like middle of the pack that quarter. And then we go into the fourth where score was 18-13, looking like some good old fashioned 2010s Celtics versus Lakers basketball. Let's see. LeBron with 11, 3 for 8. Kyrie went 2 for 6. But boy, was it a 2 for 6, head ass. Yeah. And let's go to these guys. Curry went 1 for 6. Clay went 2 for 4. And that was enough to be like, you know what? Let's go get Curry. I mean, let's go get KD. Bro, that shit was trash. Like, it's not talked about enough how trash that shit was.
On that deal, bitch, I'm stuck here for 5 more years.
Yeah, it ain't like you going to war.
Nah, you could have been doing like the 2 years. Yeah, that's why he was doing a 2-year deal, right?
You could argue the league still hasn't adjusted from that move. You could argue the league still hasn't adjusted from that move. It was so many teams that tried to reshape and remove, like just redo their rosters, trying to catch up to that Warriors team as far as the style of play, from shooting threes to the guys they picked up on their roster for their future. All those different type of shit, bro, changed at least 6 to 7 teams just organizationally. Like, the OKC got affected, right? Just off of how they're better now. But think about this. OKC get affected. The Clippers got affected. Because you lose your young talent. You're now trying to get Paul George and Kawhi, which I said, I'm talking about the infection of trying to chase the Warriors. Like, obviously they had some moderate level of success being a playoff team. Like, it wasn't like they was horrendous, but all of these things were reactionary moves to compete with that team. The Cavaliers with LeBron. The Cavaliers with the Lakers. Because both of those teams were being so constructed to try to, like, move players around and try to compete with that team, with the Isaiah Thomases and the Rodney Hoods and all these just different players that were just getting shipped around trying to fix the Cavs. Then he goes to the Lakers. But was the Warriors team still constructed? I know KD was gone, but at this point, you're still like, I still think the league was still in the ripple effects of what the Warriors were. That Raptors team, maybe. I don't know. It's just shaky. It's just shaky with them. Like, does Kawhi stay? Or Kawhi might not even leave the Spurs. Who fucking knows? I don't know. There's so much shit that go on because Kawhi foot getting stepped on with KD. All that type of shit. Like, KD, like, all that shit is like, I'm just saying, there's a lot of different things. The Rockets and how they moved. So many teams, bro. I just, if we really broke down how bad that move was, I don't think you could put a real price on it. The level of the, like, destruction and how many other teams, the Brooklyn Nets, just how many other teams that tried to get formed after trying to create another big three or something like that. And that same, well, let's get stars. Let's get the stars. Like, bro, with so many teams. Like, LeBron started it, but when KD did it, it just, bro, it sparked a new fire, bro. Let's just be real. So you could argue LeBron move and KD move sent the league into a ripple effect that was kind of nasty. But even then, that Miami Heat team was competitive. Like, you could still compete against them. Like, they wasn't just this team that was unbeatable. When KD went to the Warriors, bro, that shit.
Man, listen, I hear y'all. Listen,
He's not going to war with scrubs. He got Russ, Ibaka, Adams. It's not like you going to war with some scrubs, and you shown that you can compete against these guys, bro. It felt like the easy way out, bro. And I'm cool with that. Get it however you get it. He still got the finals MVPs. He got the rings. He got his MVP at OKC. He's going to be first ballot. He's a top 15 player all time, depending on how you feel about him. You know, at the end of the day, he's all of these things, but you know what he'll never be able to do is take that stigma off of him for what he did. It was a non-competitive move.
But that's you can do that with everyone.
No. Is it? Can you?
Yeah.
No, you can, bro. Gilbert be so dishonest, bro, because he's, like I said, the one thing that's like cringe about these player pods sometimes, bro, they don't be holding players accountable, bro. They be in their own space and bubble on how they want to create and look at certain things. And Kyrie kind of had a take where he said he wanted to change the culture, and to certain degrees, I understand why. But it was also a little disingenuous because he was like, ring culture is fucked up so much shit where we don't respect legends. That's not true. It's legends like Charles Barkley that's top 25 players of all time, but no, he don't have a ring. Like, it's players that are all-time great legends that don't have a ring. But it's just be real. Like, them rings matter because that's the ultimate end goal. And a lot of times, the rings that them guys won that's ahead of you, they beat you to get to them. So it's not like it was just we all these guys played in different eras and we just dry comparing who got rings and who don't, not thinking about the eras. Like, no, these dudes was intersectional. Like, they played against each other. Was in the same era. So his amount of rings, especially when y'all was playing head-to-head, bro, that means something. So it's like, we're not shitting on Charles Barkley. And then it's a certain level of things, too. Like, KD, he might be one of the greatest scorers of all time, but nobody's going to look at him as one of the greatest players of all time. Same with, like, Kyrie, he's one of the greatest skill players of all time. They don't make him necessarily the greatest player of all time because, like, his production, when it matters most, that shit falls off the charts. Like, when let's say with the Celtics, or let's say with some of the other teams when he only averaging 17 points in the playoff. So that's the difference. So you can get these glorifications of like these caveats of like, bro, you were great at this. Like, it's a good dude, Ralph Muhammad or some shit. Like they say he was one of the best shooters of his time. But it was a little short, like point guard, shooting guard dude. I forget his name. I'm saying his name wrong. But Raouf or something like that. I can't pronounce it right. But it's many dudes that's like that, where it's like, bro, this guy was a crazy defender, or this guy was a crazy streaky scorer, or this guy was a guy that no one talks about, but he was a bucket. It's gonna always be room for players like that. But in reality, you're not gonna be one of the best just because you had great dribbles, bro. So that's the thing. Like, look, like KD, bro, he's great. But you can't get rid of that. And it seems like players, like, they too friendly when it comes to certain conversations, honestly. And the old school dudes, they might be a little too harsh, but they be more realistic, it seems like.
That stigma off of him for what he did. It was a non-competitive move.
But that's you can do that with everyone.
No.
Is it? Can you?
Yeah, you can. You can.
Nah, if you.
Only person you could do that with is LeBron. You could do that with KD. You can obviously do it with D-Wade and Chris Bosh because they joined. You could do it with Steph and all of them because they helped. Like, they got him over there. I think you could do it with Charles Barkley with the Rockets. Like, he went to the Rockets, and he was the reason that they ended up losing in the playoffs by not contesting the late three. You could look at his move going there. He was kind of like he might have been ring chasing, but he was kind of late in his career as well. But whatever. There's guys you could look at that ring chase like that, but not everybody ring chased and was just jumping from team to team to go do that. Like, that's more of a modern thing as far as I know. Like, if I'm being honest. Maybe someone can correct me.
If you knock me out the playoffs after I'm up 3-1, bro, where is the sense of pride? That's what I like.
Where's the sense of pride if you coming after me?
No. I'm saying
like he said, he pretty much saying why the Warriors should be criticized and not me. But both of y'all deserve criticism.
But they already got a ring. That's what I'm saying. And
that's a great rebuttal. It
don't matter to them.
You whoop me, he beat your ass, and now you call me for help. Who's the weak one here?
I whooped your ass.
I'm on vacation.
You should be looking at me like.
That's the thing too. So based on his analogy, he said LeBron whooped my ass, so I'm helping you to come whoop his ass. But nigga, don't come ask me for help after you just beat my ass. Like that's the difference, bro. That's the difference. What Gilbert is not being honest with. Because if you saying the Warriors got their ass beat by LeBron, they shouldn't be friends if niggas was fighting, right? Essentially in his analogy. Didn't that just happen with OKC and the Warriors, where nigga they whooped your ass? Nigga, don't communicate with me. Don't come ask me for my help because you gotta because you want to go. You had to go squabble with somebody and you couldn't handle your opponent. Nah, nigga, we still got our ones. We got a ring. That ain't my problem. So even with Gilbert analogy, it's like if we can take it a little deeper, you can cook him with his own shit.
Beat your ass, and now you call me for help. Who's the weak one here?
I whooped your ass.
I'm on vacation.
You should be looking at me like, why you be here, nigga?
Boom.
Fuck
there you go,
nigga. You just beat me up, and you show up at my doorstep and say, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
You beat the shit out of me.
Yeah,
I had you down.
You want to
haymaker and knock me the fuck out.
So that's what I'm saying. Think about it. The person who just lost, you're 73 and whatever, you're coming to me. And you getting credit for yours. That's crazy. You're the one begging, not me. You just whooped him. You beat me. You just whooped his ass, and he's begging.
But I had a bad shooting performance to put y'all away. I need to show you what it is. You know what I mean? It ain't just that they lost to them. If KD plays better, they beat that Golden State team. You don't have nothing in you that makes you for me, you
We just looked up the stats. Ryan Davis is not wrong.
Can't beat me in 2K and then I not want to run it back, bro. Where is the competitive spirit?
But that's what I'm saying. You took an L. You can't say, this is the best team.
We got to run that bitch 20 times. I ain't going to lie to you. That's how I am, bro. If a guy is better than me, bro, I'm going to keep playing. I'm going to figure out what he's doing to beat me. I'm going to find out a way to figure out how to beat him, bro. That's just how it is, bro. It's the game. And if you never can figure it out, you never can figure it out. But, nigga, that just means you got to keep getting better.
Team in the NBA by record-wise.
Yeah.
Y'all
begging them up 3-1.
Y'all begging me, though.
Yeah.
This ain't me coming to y'all. I can say if he called and say, hey, man, y'all got a lot of money over there. You know what I mean? I want to join y'all. So y'all lost to LeBron James with the best record in the NBA.
Yep.
And then you come knocking on my door.
So he can't.
And you know how I answer that call?
And let's go get the second best. Think about what I'm saying. Let's go get the second best player in the NBA to join a team that we already won 73. But they look at y'all like y'all motherfucking gods, and I'm the one who takes the back seat.
I don't. I give them credit.
I'm saying,
KD, there's 3 Hall of Famers now because they begged the right motherfucker.
But this is the thing.
They begged the right person.
They got one after. They got one after. But they got one before.
The NBA shifted because of that.
I understand.
We don't know if he don't go there. We don't know what happens when LeBron beats their ass a couple more times. They start breaking that team up.
He don't go there. I don't win to be a champion. But I'm just saying. You said
you got a ring because of that motherfucker.
They said they came begging.
He got a ring because
you said they came begging, right?
Begging.
But you can't say
perfect
no.
flight.
You don't gotta say no. You can't say no. You gotta accept it. Like, all right, man, I'm sorry, man.
You sold me on a good ass.
So this doesn't.
You sold me.
So this don't mean anything to you, Gil.
Never heard players recruit.
A man who has a ring because of this decision is still telling you, The decision is kind of whack.
But it is swaggy, though, so he'll tell you that today. He might change his opinion tomorrow.
Nah,
That's
man,
it.
at the end of the day,
No.
You're a competitor,
No, I like
bro.
what he did.
know, but what I'm
not
saying is-
saying it. I like what he
But
did.
think about it. You're in a space where you're a free agent, right? He's a free agent. He done got the scoring title a couple times. He done got an MVP. He got
There's nothing
the all.
wrong with
He's already first ballot Hall of Famer at 28, right? And then Curry, Clay, and Draymond as a group, the Temptations, fly all the way on while I'm on vacation. Where you at, dog? I'm on vacation.
know they
Here
not
we
winning
come.
without him.
Right? So
Yeah.
you're saying the best team in the NBA who just beat me is calling for help. That come on, dog. How are y'all not? But you don't knock them for calling for help. You knock me for joining.
We do, bro. We do. Like, what are you saying? So let's move. Like, that's the thing. Like, Gilbert staying stuck on this point. So say I do criticize both sides of the ball or fence. I criticize the Warriors and I criticize KD. What's the next defense of your argument? That's what I think Gil's falling short for. Most people looked at the Warriors as soft for doing that. And a lot of people look at KD for being soft for doing that. It's just that simple.
I do knock them.
Nobody knocks calling their name. No one.
Because you want to know why? You want to know why?
They won after, right?
Because the conversation is never Steph asked. The conversation is always Draymond called crying.
Who was on the plane with him?
But this is what I'm saying. But this.
And I think the truth is, I think it's more what Nick Young said, and even Ryan kind of alluded to it. The truth is, when you win that championship after KD leaves, and even winning the championship before KD goes there, you have a certain level of. So we're gonna give you a certain level of grace. So maybe even if KD didn't go there, they could have still figured it out without KD. Even with them losing 3-1, going against LeBron again, they could have just kept going back to back to back. Like LeBron would have won one, they would have won one. LeBron would have won one, or they could have figured it out and beat him the next 2 years. They were up 3-1, and you could look at it if they would have just did what they had to do. They would have got them out of there 4-1, and then if they backdoored and just get the right mentality after they figured out, man, we kind of fumbled the shit. And it's similar to what the Spurs did to the Heat. They were up, and they lost back-to-back games. The next year, they beat them 4-1. Because they like, bro, if we just did our right shit, we would have won that game. We would have won that series in 6. It was like, to really show y'all we ain't on that bullshit, we beat them niggas in 5. And the Warriors, if they had the same mentality of that Spurs team, that's what could have easily happened. We lost 3-1. The next year, we beat them 4-1. The next year, them niggas forced to make some moves, and let's see what they do after that. But we probably beat them again. Especially if Kyrie leaves and shit like that. So who knows? So that's the conversation, like I said, with the difference between how the Warriors wasn't looked at as well. Like, so let's say the Warriors just fell off the map and never won a championship after KD left. Those 2 championships would be looked at a certain way. But Steph going to win that 4th one, bro, really solidify shit. And like I said, even winning that one in the beginning helped solidify it too. Versus KD didn't win before or after. And it looks a certain way, bro. It looks a certain way. Don't look like he's going to ever get it done. But that's been it for today, man. It's been fun. We about this thing, man. I'll catch y'all boys later on.